I never thought this day would come, but I switched to a foldable phone. And honestly, it's not even about Apple because no matter what phone it is, iPhone, Galaxy, Pixel, this switch is bigger than just a brand. I think it's safe to say that since the Z Fold 7 came out, I've officially moved on from slab phones as a whole. For the first time ever, I found a foldable that isn't just cool to show off, it actually works as my everyday phone. The Z Fold 7 is the first foldable that I can seriously trust as a daily driver. And I've gotta admit, I'm impressed, like genuinely blown away by how far foldables have come. See, a few years ago, they kind of felt like fragile prototypes. Now, this thing is smoother, smarter, skinnier, and more capable than a lot of flagships that I've used. So if you've ever looked at a foldable and thought, that's pretty dope, but could I really live with it? That's exactly what I'm breaking down in this video. Because the Z Fold 7 didn't just get me to switch phones, it got me to rethink what a phone should actually be. Now, I've been using not just iPhones, but slab phones for about as long as I can remember, from the iPhone to OnePlus to even the Samsung Galaxy, but no matter what, I've always came back to that same type of phone, which is the classic slab. You know the deal, screen on the front, camera on the back, and same general shape for over a decade, and honestly, it worked. Slab phones were familiar, the iPhone especially since it has a clean UI, smooth animations, a reliable camera, AirDrop, iMessage, and just that it always works kind of feel. The ecosystem was very comfortable, predictable, and you never really had to think about it. But in my experience, that comfort does come at a cost. It kind of boxes you in. Now, something that I believe that foldable phones will never be as good as slab phones at is accessories. A lot of Z Fold cases are very slim or flimsy, but with a regular slab phone, you're working with the best of the best. Now, I absolutely love my Taurus 360 stand case for my iPhone. It has this incredibly premium feel that makes holding my phone a luxurious experience. The silicone exterior provides an excellent grip, so I never have to worry about my phone slipping from my hands. And what really impresses me is the soft fabric lining that protects my phone's materials from scratches and wear. The anti-scratch resistance on the 360 stand is impressive. I've been using it for a while now and it still looks brand new. Its shock mat drop protection has already saved my phone several times when accidentally dropping it, and being MagSafe compatible means that I can use all of my wireless chargers and accessories without removing the case. And of course, the horizontal and vertical kickstand is super convenient for watching videos or making video calls hands-free. I absolutely adore my phone case because it not only protects my device from unexpected drops, but also expresses my personality with its unique design. The sturdy construction gives me peace of mind wherever I go, while still looking stylish enough to complement my everyday aesthetic. So for that, I give it an A+. And if you are interested in these Taurus cases, click the link in the description and comment section of today's video. After a while, I realized that I was just upgrading out of habit. Every single year, it's a slightly better version of the exact same thing. A better camera, a brighter screen, but the experience barely changed. It kind of felt like I was stuck in this loop of routine where phones weren't evolving, but just iterating. And don't get me wrong, I still think slab phones are one of the most polished experiences out there, but something about the sameness started to feel really stale. I'd seen foldables come and go, flashy launches, wild concepts, and that wow factor at first glance, but they never really were able to pull me in. Why? Because they've always felt like a compromise. Thicker, heavier, experimental, and I always thought to myself, cool idea, but not something that I could actually use every single day. And then the Z Fold 7 dropped, and for the first time, it didn't feel like I had to step out of my comfort zone. It felt like the foldable tech finally caught up to the promise. The hardware is solid, the hinge is smooth, and the software doesn't just look good, it adapts to how I use it. And more than anything, it didn't feel like I was giving something up. It honestly felt like I was gaining something new. That's why this switch isn't just about leaving the iPhone, it's about leaving the entire slab mindset. Because the Z Fold 7 didn't just check the boxes, it changed the rules. And for the first time ever, I can realistically see myself using a foldable like this as my main phone for a pretty long time. Now, for the past 15 years, phones have basically looked the same, but when it comes to the Z Fold 7, it completely flips. When I'm out and about, I use it like a regular phone. The cover screen's tall and slim, just like any slab, texting, checking notifications, quick Google searches, no learning curve. But when I want to get stuff done, I unfold it, and suddenly I've got a mini tablet in my hands. Watching YouTube on one side while controlling music on the other, taking notes while referencing a Google Doc in split screen, dragging images across without bouncing between apps, it's all pretty seamless. And once you get used to that kind of freedom, it's kind of hard to go back. It's not just about having more screen, it's about what you can do with it. This isn't really a phone that tries to replace a laptop or tablet, but it fills this niche gap better than any slab phone ever could. And the craziest part to me is that it still fits in my pocket. I'm walking around with something that folds like a notebook, runs like a flagship, and handles multitasking like no other phone could. And that's really why I like the Z Fold 7 as a whole. It's not just pretty cool, but it's also functional. And honestly, I didn't expect the foldable to fit into my routine so naturally. Next up, let me break down what actually living with the Z Fold 7 feels like, because once you move past the hype, this is what really matters. And let's start with the screens, because that's where everything changes. The outer display is a 6.5-inch dynamic AMOLED panel with a 120Hz refresh rate, and honestly, it feels like I'm using a regular phone. It's responsive, it's sharp, and bright. I use it for most of my quick stuff, replying to messages, scrolling through social media, checking the weather, you know, that kind of thing. One disadvantage is that it's slightly skinnier than most slab phones, but it never really felt cramped. And due to it being light and more manageable than any other foldables, it feels really comfortable. But when I need to focus or multitask, I just unfold it. And from that point on, I'm looking at this 8-inch foldable AMOLED display with a peak brightness of up to 2600 nits and the same buttery smooth 120Hz refresh rate. And it's not just a bigger screen, it's a better space to work and play in. Apps expand beautifully, content feels more immersive, and reading is kind of like holding a Kindle and tablet in one. App continuity works perfectly. I'll be using an app on the cover screen, unfold the phone, and boom, it stretches out into this full screen without missing a beat. And it's those smooth transitions that make it feel like a real thought out experience, not just a cool party trick. Next up, let's talk multitasking, because that's what really sold me. Now the Z Fold 7 has this taskbar at the bottom of the inner display. Think of it kind of like a little dock, always ready with your most recent and favorite apps. And I use App Pair constantly. I've got YouTube and Notes paired together for whenever I'm researching. I'll run 3 apps at once, music on one side, another app in another window, and my YouTube floating on top. Drag and drop works between them too. And then there's flex mode, probably one of the most underrated features. I'll prop up my phone halfway on the table and it becomes its own stand. It's great for Zoom calls, watching videos while I'm eating, or using the camera hands-free. And speaking of camera, the versatility here really surprised me. If I need a quick moment, I'll snap a shot on the cover screen, easy just like any other phone. But when I want a high quality selfie or to film something, I'll open the fold, use the rear cameras, and preview myself on the cover display. And that combo gives you flagship level quality for front-facing content, and the main camera surprisingly holds its own. Punchy and sharp images with great HDR. Battery life was something that I was a little nervous about, especially considering that this thing holds 2 displays. But with its 4400 mAh battery, I've been comfortably getting through a full day. That's checking emails, watching videos, multitasking, regular use. And if I'm doing a ton of on-screen time, I might throw it on a charger in the evening, but it does support 25-watt wired, which honestly isn't the best, but it is on par with my iPhone. Now yeah, let's address the elephant in the room, and that's the weight. And even though this thing has 2 screens, it's definitely lighter than your average foldable phone. And I also think that it's the most underrated thing that makes this phone so usable. It's light like a slab, skinny like a slab, and in terms of feel, it's practically the same as a slab. And that's really what the Z Fold 7 has done for me. I've taken regular phone habits, watching content, replying to emails, taking notes, and expanded them, made them more fluid, more capable, without needing to reach for a laptop or tablet or a second device. It's kind of all just there. Now, as someone who has seriously doubted foldables in the past, if you're watching this and you're also doubting the Z Fold 7, there were some questions that came to my mind in the past that I would like to answer for anyone who's having those same questions in 2025. Now, the first thing that you guys might be wondering is this thing fragile? And I get it. That was my first concern too. A phone that folds with moving parts, it sounds like something that you'd have to baby 24/7, but here's the truth. The Z Fold 7 is shockingly sturdy. Samsung has come a long way since the early foldable days. The Z Fold 7's hinge has been completely re-engineered. It's smoother, more compact, and feels solid. You don't get that wobble or looseness like in earlier generations. And for the folding mechanism, it's rated over 500,000 folds. That's basically around 100 folds a day for 10 years, and that's more than most people will ever do. And something else that you guys might be doubting is the crease. Well, how is it? Honestly, I thought it would be noticeable, but within a day or two, my eyes just stopped noticing it. It's there, yes, physically, you can still feel it a little bit, but it fades into the background, especially when you're immersed in content or multitasking. It's kind of like the notch or dynamic island on the iPhone. You'll notice it at first, but then you'll forget that it's there. Next question, is it bulky? Well, that's another thing that I hear all the time, but out of every foldable I use, this one is by far the skinniest and closest to the slab phone. Plus, the weight distribution is so well balanced that it never feels clunky in a hand or in a pocket. It's 215 grams, which is way lighter than the Z Fold 6, and it's lighter than what you would expect for what it does. But now that we're done with the questions, let's talk durability, because this phone isn't some delicate concept piece anymore. The Z Fold 7 has an IP48 water resistance, which means that it can handle splashes, rain, and general everyday life. And Samsung's drop and stress testing on this phone has been next level. I've tossed it in my bag, I've folded it hundreds of times, I've used it on the go, outside, in the car, on the couch, and not once have I treated it like it needed special care. So yeah, foldables used to feel like fragile prototypes, but with the Z Fold 7, this thing is built to be lived with. It's not perfect, of course, no phone is, but if durability, weight, or the crease are holding you back, I can honestly say that those concerns feel way smaller in real life than they do on paper. Now, as much as I've fallen in love with the Fold, I must admit that it's not perfect. And honestly, if you're coming from a traditional slab phone, there are some compromises that you should know about. First up, let's start with the camera, because this is probably the biggest one. Don't get me wrong, the Z Fold 7's cameras are solid. The 50 megapixel main sensor can take some crisp shots, but compared to something like the Galaxy S25 Ultra or the iPhone 16 Pro Max, you really feel the difference, especially in video. The image processing just isn't quite on the same level. Low light video looks a little soft, and the dynamic range sometimes struggles in contrasty scenes. And when it comes to the telephoto lens, yeah, it's there, but it's only 3 times optical. And as you can see right here, it doesn't hold up against the 30 times zoom on a premium slab phone. So if you care less about zoom or cinematic video quality, you're going to notice. Then there's the app experience. On the main inner display, not every app scales well. Some apps look amazing, optimized, and responsive, but others, they feel kind of stretched. Like they never were meant to live on a square screen. Text alignment feels weird. Instagram stories don't fit the frame right. And on a slab phone, everything just fits. You open an app and it behaves exactly how it's supposed to. No weird aspect ratios or UI glitches. And the final problem is that we cannot ignore the price. At $2,000 and realistically over $2,100 after tax, this thing costs more than some laptops. Even the best slab phones like the iPhone 16 Pro Max, S25 Ultra, or Pixel 9 Pro XL, they're expensive, but they don't hit you this hard in the wallet. You're paying a premium for a foldable form factor, and while it is innovative, it's still a big ask for a lot of people. So yeah, as much as I love this phone, I'm not blind to its flaws. It's not the best camera phone, it's not the cheapest phone, and some apps just aren't ready for it yet. But for me, the value comes from how it changed the way that I use my phone, and that's something that no slab has done for me in a very long time. So, is the Z Fold 7 worth switching to? If you care most about having the absolute best camera, or you want something super light and pocketable, you might still be better off with a traditional slab phone. But if you're the kind of person who loves doing more with your phone, multitasking, content creation, productivity, or even just watching Netflix on a bigger screen, the Z Fold 7 changes the game. For me, it's the first foldable that felt like a true replacement and not a side project. It made my phone feel less of a limitation and more like a tool that works around me. So no, it's not perfect, but it's the most interesting phone that I've used in years, and I genuinely don't see myself going back. But hey, that's just me. What about you guys? Would you ever switch to a foldable, or are you still all in on the slab life? Let me know down in the comments. I'll read them all. And stay tuned because I've got more deep dives and honest takes coming. But for now, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.